Happy Monday, boys. Today is Monday, November 9th. And I'm super excited about this week because tomorrow I get to see you in class. You're going to come here and we're going to have our lesson in class. So I'm super excited about that. So let's start our day in prayer. So let's fold our hands and bow our heads. Dear God, we give thanks for all good things, for potatoes and stuffing and turkey wings. We thank God for pumpkin pie and the smile in our family's eye. Amen. All right, let's look over here to our flag and start our day with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, good job. Okay, so let's just review very quickly. We're in the month of November. Today is Monday, November 9th. Our shape of the month is a rectangle, and a rectangle is 2 long sides and 2 short sides. Our color of the month is brown. We're going to be painting with brown today. And we have a new letter, and the letter is I. And you can see the shape right here is an ice cream cone. We have an igloo that begins with the I, an iron, and ice cream, all begin with I. Later on in the week, we're going to read a book, I Want an Iguana. An iguana begins with I. All right, so this is a capital or uppercase I. It's a line starting at the top and going down, and then we're finishing the top and the bottom line. And our lowercase I is a line, and then we're going to put a dot on the top of it. So that's our lowercase I. So if our name was Irene, then that would be, we would start with an uppercase I because it's a name or a title or the beginning of the sentence. And then we have this guy over here that if we were just writing I love ice cream, we would be using the lowercase or the smaller I. All right, so today, the 2 worksheets that we're going to work on. First, we're going to start with our rectangle worksheet. And the instructions on this say to trace the rectangle. So if you see the dots, we're going to be connecting the dots. And our second instruction down here is to make the shape of a rectangle. So we're going to have to finish. We already have the 2 short sides. We're going to have to finish with 2 long sides. So you can pick any, use your markers for this. I think it might be easier. You can use your crayons though, but I think markers might be easier. I'm going to pick my brown crayon, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect the dots. And boys, take your time with this to form our rectangle. 2 long sides, 2 short sides. And then we're going to move on, and the directions are asking us to make the shape of a rectangle, so complete what they already have. So we know we have the 2 long sides on the side, so in order to make the rectangle, we're going to have to make a long side, 2 long sides, 2 short sides. All right, so this is the shape of the month, the rectangle, and when you have time, when it's your coloring period, you can go ahead and you can color these in. And you can make them colorful. Why don't you try some stripes or some dots and put some different colors in here. You can even use your dot to dot if you'd like. So you can put this aside for your coloring time. The next worksheet that we're going to do is also for our coloring time, but I've gone ahead and you see that we have spelled out the colors, orange, red, yellow, brown, and green. And I've gone ahead and put the colors in for you to make it a little easier. And our turkey here, we're going to match up the numbers that are on each crayon. We're going to match them up to color our turkey in. So if we start with the number 1 over here on our turkey wings, our number 1, it's telling us to color number 1 yellow. So I'm going to do it real quick. And then we'll just go through a couple. We're not going to do the whole thing. This is for your coloring time. but number 1 is yellow. Number 3, we're going to look up here and find our number 3, and we see number 3 is orange. So anything that's number 3 on our turkey is going to be orange. And if you notice, I'm coloring in the feather right now, but if you notice on the bottom, his feet are orange. So all number 3s are going to be orange. And we'll do one more. Let's look for our number 5. What color are they telling us to do number 5? I see 4, 5's over here. So they're asking us to do 5 in green. So we'll find our green crown. And we'll do number 5 in green. Anything that's 5 on our turkey is going to be green. So if you spy anything else that's number 5, that's going to be green. All right, and that's how you're going to complete your whole turkey. And that's during coloring time. Your numbers are up here that you're matching with your numbers down here. All right, so let's put that aside for our coloring time. I have a turkey big and fat. He struts around this way and that. His daily corn he would not miss. And when he talks, he sounds like this. Gobble, 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 gobble. Hello, Mr. Turkey, how are you? Hello, Mr. Turkey, how are you? With a gobble, 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 and a wobble, wobble, wobble. Hello, Mr. Turkey, how are you? A turkey is a funny bird. His head goes wobble, wobble. And he knows one silly word. Gobble, gobble, gobble. So silly, right? But a very fun song. All right, this month we are learning about 2 groups of people and how they came together and formed a friendship. I think that's so important. Now we talk about friendships and coming together, different people coming together, becoming friends and working together. The first group of people, if you remember, we learned last week about the Pilgrims. Right, the Pilgrims came over from England on a ship called the Mayflower because they couldn't have their own church, so they wanted to go to a new land and start a new life. So they're the Pilgrims. And then we have the Native Americans. And the Native Americans already lived in Plymouth Rock, where the Pilgrims ended up. And even though the Pilgrims were strange people, they had strange ways. They didn't do things the same way as the Native Americans did. The Native Americans chose to be friends with the Pilgrims. And you can see they come together. They chose to be friends with them and help them. And because of their helpfulness, they learned how to hunt, they learned how to fish. They gave them seeds to vegetables that they didn't even know existed. And to celebrate that, they came together on Thanksgiving and had a 3-day feast. They munched down for 3 days on turkey and the corn, the pumpkins, the squash, all the wonderful things, the fish, all the wonderful things that the Native American Indians taught them. All right, and I just have some pictures, and I know I've showed these before, but I just want to give you some idea of maybe what it was like to be a Native American child. You can see all the cool things they have. This picture was actually taken pretty recently, and it's still a Native American tribe today, and they still dress in their native garb. And here are the Pilgrims. And of course, this was taken recently. It's not a real picture of when they first came to Plymouth Rock, but you can see some of the outfits that they wear. And some of their toys are things they did for fun. And look at that. This is their way of bowling. They have sticks, and see the ball, they're knocking down the pins or the sticks. And our Native American children, they do things a little differently, but they still play. They have their canoes. Look at that canoe that's carved out of the trunk of a tree. And they're gathering water. And the Native Americans, the one thing I noticed about both of the Native Americans and the Indians is that the children both had dolls. So if we look over here, this is their doll, a cornstalk doll. And then the Pilgrims had this kind of doll. The Pilgrims played with marbles, and the Native Americans made, it looks like they made necklaces, they made shoes called moccasins, they had, well, this is a woven bag, but they did make baskets and mats, and there's all different things that, that each of them brought. And then they came together and they probably shared those toys. So after the feast and getting together and helping each other, they probably learned some new toys and some new games. So that's super fun. Okay, so today we are going to make turkeys. I told you that this month you were going to see a lot of turkeys. So you have a bag. I hope you have a bag. And in your bag, there's going to be some feathers and some eyes and a beak. If you look down here, there's a little triangle, if I can find it. There it is, a triangle beak. And we're going to take our egg crate out and we're going to snip it. I don't know if I snipped yours, but Mom and Dad can help you with this because we're going to fold it. So it's going to end up being folded like this. Okay, and that's going to be our turkey. And we're going to take our brown paint and our brushes, and we're going to cover this whole egg crate, our egg carton. And we're not going to, don't put a lot on, just cover it though. And the reason I'm saying don't put a lot on is because you're going to have to wait for it to dry to finish doing our turkeys. So I'm just going to do one side real quick. See how I'm getting all the nooks and crannies? Maybe I'll do this down here. And if you don't put a lot on, it should dry pretty quickly. You're going to get some on your hands, and that's okay because it's washable. So it'll come right off. Now, if you're going to do this on the table and not hold it, maybe put down a piece of paper or put down a paper towel so we don't get our desk area or work area all dirty. Whatever works for Mom and Dad. All right, so I've covered most of it. So it's going to look like this when you're done. And that's the top and the bottom of our turkey. You can go back and cover more if I miss some. If it's easier for you to cut these in half, that's fine too. And then paint them cut in half. All right, and then after we have them painted and they dry, then we're going to add some, I'm just going to do it like this so you guys can see it. We're going to add our beautiful feathers on the back of the turkey. And you can glue them on with your glue sticks or you can glue them on with liquid glue, doesn't matter, both will work. And then we have our eyes and we have our beak. And we're going to put our beak on right about there. And then we'll put our eyes on up here. I'm doing this without glue, so hopefully they won't fall. They're sticking to the paint. That's what your turkey's gonna look like. We're gonna have our beak, our eyes, and then we're gonna arrange our feathers any way that we want in the back. All right, I'm gonna put this over here to dry, and I'm gonna meet you back here in a couple minutes after I wash my hands to read our story.